Pizza and Hummus Podcast.
So why would you listen to the Pizza and Hummus Podcast?
Am I right, bada bing?
Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go.
I laughed way too hard at that. That's the worst thing ever. And welcome back to the Pizza and Hummus Podcast.
Hey, everybody.
What's going on? This is Vince, of course, and always with Richie.
What's up?
I'll tell you what's up, Richie.
We got a plate of donuts here.
So today we have the Shoelace Swishers. They're two rappers. I'm related to one. Jarrett's related to the other. It's Tino and Austin. What's going on, guys?
Not much,
man.
They have two songs on Spotify right now, and their plan is to get obviously more songs and more shows coming up soon.
It's on all streaming.
It's on all streaming,
everything.
YouTube, look up Shoelace Swishers.
And you'll find us.
Mm-hmm. Sweet.
Yeah.
So let's just start talking now. So, fun fact. Everyone's heard the Pizza and Hummus Podcast theme song, and the here we go is sitting with us today.
Yes.
Right there.
Wow. Would you imagine, like, that's the whole point of the episode? Like, it has nothing to do with you guys as individuals. Be like, we got the voice here.
We now have a face to the voice.
What gave you the inspiration to do that?
What was happening that caused you to say, uh-oh? And then follow it with the brave sentence, here we go.
Another fun fact, there was another verse that he rapped.
There
He
was.
about 12.
Yeah.
I think we should release that. Like, you know,
If
how
my brother still has the file,
that
for
would
sure.
be so funny.
For
Yeah.
sure, man.
Probably my prepubescent voice on there. Ready
So
to kill
basically, my brother and you guys were making a rap song,
it. Yeah.
and he just you guys make a bunch of songs, and then sometimes you don't publish them, sometimes you do. And I was trying to think of like a theme song, and I saw that song, and I'm like, can I just do this, but just have him say here we go, and just cut out all the other rapping, and then just lower his voice like 10 octaves so it sounds like super crazy. And that's how it came to be.
You know what's funny? Like, I had no part in this, so this isn't me bragging because I didn't do anything about the theme song. It's so funny how catchy it is.
Yeah.
To me.
It's so catchy.
People who listen at work, because there's a bunch of people around me, I make them listen to it.
Yeah.
Some episodes. And I'll, like, bring it up or something, and then, like, later in the day I'll see them. There's like, here, Jesus.
It just gets
They're
you
like,
excited,
"Thanks."
man. Just get you
It's like,
excited.
here we go. We're going to start the podcast.
Right.
Yeah.
Or, like, if they say something, like, controversial at work, and I know they listen to the podcast, I'll go, here we go. And, like, will you stop?
You're that guy.
Yeah.
Like when everybody says...
Heard it? You heard it? You heard the episode?
It's kind of like the same guy when someone says cram book, and someone goes, he went to a private school.
Right.
That's a private school.
There's always a guy in the background, like 20 feet. It was like, has anyone ever seen him? Or he's just, like, always, like, waiting.
Does he even work here?
One of the window cleaners.
So Richie, you'll see I got the HD version of your mug. This nice
I got the
giant
8-bit
octopus
version.
The 4K.
Yeah, this is the 4K. All the little details.
You know, I just really am a big fan of the classics, if I'm going to be honest. I think we focus too much on graphics and not enough on storyline, and that's why I pick 12-year-old Lauren's masterpiece every time.
A.K.A. Ranch.
Ranch approved. I think the weirdest part is that both of the octopuses or octopi, whatever you say, are both pink.
Yeah.
Like, I've never seen one in the wild pink. Maybe there are some. I don't have Google on me right now.
It's like those history documentaries of, like, we're looking for the pink octopus, and then they always end with, we think it exists, but we didn't. Not in this last hour. We
And
didn't
they
find
just they just constantly show like CGI
Of what
like
it might
pink
look
ones and what it
like.
might look like, and they just scatter it throughout, and they're always like, oh, and then we saw something with 8 tentacles, and you're like, oh, and then it goes to commercial break, and it comes back, and like, we were watching The Little Mermaid, and the villain popped up, and you're like, oh man,
We're trying to get inspired.
Oh, boy.
Kind of random. Do you guys watch cable? Like,
Barely.
All right,
I don't think
I'll tell you this much. I don't watch cable, but I am on YouTube a lot. I do go on my phone a lot.
yeah. Well,
Our dad watched cable all the time.
Yes, our dad watches cable, but it's just really weird how, like, once I had to pay for cable, I was like, why am I paying for commercials? Like anything I want to watch, I can just watch it online. It's on YouTube, whatever. Even some of the live stuff, you can just watch it online. And I was just curious, like for you guys, because you guys are at home and your parents have cable, but you guys are like, oh, I want to watch 50 hours of commercials and then a little bit of Swamp Monsters.
So I just got Hulu, and that there's no reason for me to even watch cable now because most of the stuff like I want to watch is all on Hulu. This is sponsored by Hulu, by the way.
We like to think I'm sponsor Hulu, putting code P&H.
It's actually amazing how many, like, you don't realize how much commercials there are until you go back to cable.
Yeah.
And just watching TV without DVR, without, and you're just like,
oh my God.
I don't have to go to the bathroom like a fifth time. There's no reason for this commercial break. Like, there's no.
How many times am I gonna look on my phone? That's the other thing too that people that like some of these advertisement people. I don't think they realize is like when it hits commercial break, everyone just goes, "Oh, well, I just better go on my phone."
Right.
Like if you're gonna send ads, send them to your phone. That's where people are. That's where they're gonna be.
I'm not gonna be alone with my thoughts.
Yeah.
Who do you think I am?
I'm not gonna sit and enjoy Bob's Chevy dealership. He's having a sale.
Big Bob.
I feel like there was definitely a time where there wasn't commercials, like when TV first came out.
They're like, "Oh, we're not making any money." Whoops. And they're like, "We were."
No, like, and that was like kind of like with like YouTube. YouTube used to never have
Yeah,
commercials.
I never did.
Yeah.
And then after a while, they're like, well, we need money, so we gotta
sell
commercials.
out.
That
Well-
must have been a great.
Well, that
People
was the issue with cable was because cable was the whole premise was you pay for it and then you don't get commercials.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then just one day they were like, "Why not both? Let's make double monies."
So stupid. I feel like it's a level of stubbornness. Like we've talked about how my mom still has a landline
Oh yeah.
and a cell phone, and I'm like, "But why?" She goes, "Well, I just like it better for talking on the phone in the morning with like my sisters." But like you don't have bad we have good service. You don't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I just feel like
the early 2000s.
I feel like all you have to do is just ask the question, "Why do I have cable?" And then you answer it with, "Oh, I shouldn't have cable."
Yeah. My mom's the same way though, but she gets the landline. She's like, "Well, what if the power lines go down?"
Oh, yeah.
I'm like the landline? Like what?
Yeah.
What do you mean? Well, if the towers go, and you can't call anybody, I gotta have a landline
I guess that's true.
for that. But guess what? But here's the thing though, like it could still go down. The landline can still go down. And think about this: they never answer the phone.
No.
If I call the home phone, the landline phone, no one answers it. They go, "Oh, who it is? Oh, probably just someone trying to sell something." And we have the ones that like announces. It's like Vince is calling. This is not a sales rep. And we're like, it's probably a sales rep.
God forbid you call my parents' house during dinner. My dad turns into Liam Neeson, and you just kidnapped his daughter.
Yeah.
My mom goes, "Don't answer it," because we know it's spam, because it says, "Hello, spam."
Yeah.
On a caller ID, because we're the Jetsons and we live in the future. My mom goes, "Don't answer it, Rich." All right. And so he answers the phone. "Look,
I'm having.
I know who you are, and I'm going to kill you." Anyway, God bless. And that's the whole thing. And speaking of your mom's like, "Well, what if it goes down? You will still have the landlines." I can see, like, I could take down a landline. You just need, like, a saw from home. Like, it's right there.
Yeah.
The landline's going across. I can just take it down. It's a good thing I can't reach space where satellites are.
Oh, jeez. That's kind of amazing when you think about it. Like, if the text message goes up to a satellite in space and comes back down.
Yeah, and then we're just like, why won't it go faster?
It's immediately
Because it's got
spoiled.
I thought a comedian did a bit on that.
Yeah,
like,
Louis
it's got to
CK.
go 900 miles.
But why isn't it here right now? It is.
It's got to go from space.
That is pretty insane, though. That it has to do that.
Who thought of that?
I don't even. That was. I feel like that was a different comedian's bit as well. Another one where they were like, "Well, I'm just gonna go. If I went into the past, I would invent the cell phone." And be like, "You think you understand how a cell phone works? You don't know how a cell phone works.
I
Like,
just give it to someone. Go here, make this.
make here, take it apart and make this again. Like, it doesn't make."
I
any
thought
sense
about
to
me.
that
Only got
too,
one shot.
and I was like, I would go if I want to go back to like the 40s, bring out my cell phone, like, look at this. But I was like, they'll probably accuse me of witchcraft.
Right? Yeah.
And then I'll probably get killed.
Right.
Nobody really thinks
Just
about
they
that.
won't know what they're looking at. They're like, it's a moving picture.
And how is it going to work too? They don't have satellites in space yet, so they can't. It can't even work. You're like, this thing.
You literally will
You
just
show them
sound
a couple
crazy.
photos.
You can go on the
like,
internet.
Look at it.
It
Not
hasn't
black
been
and
invented
white.
yet.
We get it. You're a good drawer, but we're trying to focus on not dying of stomach ache right now. So
Everyone just keeps dying of the stomach ache. I would have totally died of the stomach ache.
The stomach.
For sure.
Stomach ache.
I would have died at age of 12. Stomach ache. Hashtag probiotics. So, have you guys seen Bird Box?
No.
Yeah.
I watched it.
Why is it... Here's the thing. I thought it was a good movie. I thought it was
movie.
fine.
Yeah.
But why is it such a big deal? Is it just because of the memes that you're using a blindfold? Why is it like the talk of the town
It's
right
the talk.
now?
I honestly don't think it's because of the meme.
Anything that comes out on Netflix. It's like a talk of the town.
But it's like really like Bird Box, sweeping the nation, and it was a good. It was a fine. No one's talking about the truth about Bird Box, which is that it's a mix of M. Night Shyamalan's The Happening, and This Is the End with Seth Rogen. It's those two movies put together, and someone's like, we gotta make this a sensation.
I watched it the whole time, and I just thought of back when The Happening came out, and you were like, it's a good movie. I'm like, the plants convince people to kill themselves? You're like, yeah, great.
It was not the
I'm like, what?
Reminds me of the Goosebumps episode. Don't go in the basement. You guys ever seen that?
What something someone would say if they've never seen Goosebumps. They're like, what was the name of the Goosebumps book you just read?
Chucky, the puppet? I don't know.
Don't go in the basement.
It was about a dad who was a scientist and he messed with plants. And then it turns out, because he didn't want the kids to go in the basement because the plants were evil. And so,
Obviously.
there's how ridiculous this gets.
Yeah.
One of the plants disguised itself as the dad and tries to convince the kids to go in the basement.
That's
Some
pretty
smart
dark.
plants right
Yeah.
there, man. That's crazy.
Like, a plant out of everything you could have done? A plant?
I read one Goosebumps book
They
to the
said-
finish,
they
and I had a
said
bunch
Eric.
of them, but I only read one. Well, technically Goosebumps had a choose your own adventure.
Yeah.
I read the crap out of those because you're constantly spinning pages and you feel like you're reading. But no, I read one and it was about ghost dogs. And these ghost dogs were, long story short, they were trying to steal kids' souls so that way they can become kids and then the kids would become ghost dogs. And spoiler alert, they become ghost dogs. I'm like, I don't know if this makes sense scientifically or even in
You
the
know what?
fantasy realm. How does a ghost dog...
So kids become ghost dogs.
Kids become ghost dogs. They don't become ghosts. They become ghost dogs.
That's elaborate. That's a 5-step
And they can like go
They're-
through walls and
so
stuff.
they're rap artists. They become ghost rap artists.
Ghost dogs.
Ghost
Pretty
dogs.
much. Drake hired like 7 of them.
D-A-double-G.
Got a couple ghost dogs writing this for me.
I was-
Speaking of choose your own adventure, yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
Well, I was just gonna say, and I always thought like, oh, this is the best Goosebumps book ever, and I realized it was the only one I've ever read.
No comparison.
I just look at the covers and I go, oh, I don't know if I want to read that one. And
It's
that's it.
like Michigan Chillers.
Oh, those are my
yeah.
books, man.
Michigan
I didn't read the
Chillers.
Goosebumps, but I read those.
Oh,
New
yeah.
York
Chillers.
Ninjas and all them.
Well, that's the American show.
Those ones are good too.
Detroit.
Yeah.
What was it? Detroit.
Dinosaurs in Detroit.
Dinosaurs in Detroit.
He had to
All
feed them
the-
cheeseburgers for some reason.
Wasn't there like a Killer Clowns
Guys,
in
I
Kalamazoo
just
too?
started all these books. Can you please not spoil? You know what book I read when I was a kid? The Giving Tree, and that's it.
Junie B. Jones.
Shel Silverstein stole my heart.
I feel like everybody had the 8th grade, like The Outsiders was their favorite book.
The Giver is what I read.
Stay golden, Pony Boy.
Okay, Bandersnatch. You want to watch that? Bandersnatch.
I don't know what that
That
is.
is.
Is that a word?
What?
Black Mirror.
I've watched Black Mirror. There's a couple episodes.
There's only
though.
one episode I liked, and that was the military one where they'd kill like these aliens, but then you figure out the military was like brainwashing them. It was just normal people.
It's a dark show.
Is this the
This is
Michigan Chillers?
No, no, this is
Plants in the basement.
no,
American Chillers.
This is a Black Mirror.
Okay. Wait, which one is that?
It's I don't know.
Well, anyway, that came out like right around the time as Bird Box. And so everyone's like, watch Bird Box, watch Bandersnatch. So Black Mirror released a movie, standalone. It's not like a new season, and it's a choose your own adventure, and it's a delight.
What do you mean?
Amazing.
What do you mean? It's a
It's
show
like the
that's a choose your own
episodes that-
adventure.
Oh, go to episode 6 if you want to do.
No,
like that
so
type
what
of
it,
deal?
yeah, so what it does is, so you're watching it, and like at a point where he's gonna have to make a decision. It's really smooth. It's not really too distracting. It just slowly fades up, yes or no, and with your remote, you choose,
Ooh, I
and
like
then
that.
it doesn't pause it. If you don't choose in 10 seconds, it chooses for you. So it's really smooth. You end up a lot of the time seeing both options anyway.
Yeah.
Wow, I've watched it 3 times.
You try like a different adventure every single time.
Yeah,
really?
kinda. Yeah.
Okay.
I used to hate the video games where like they gave you the illusion of choice, but you'd be like, so like, what are you gonna do? yes or no. So if you hit no, then he's like, come on, you gotta do it. And then it just pops up again, yes or no. And then if you keep hitting no, they're like, come on, it's not the big a deal.
That's
just
so
say yes.
funny.
And you're like, oh, I guess
Peer pressure.
Yeah. I'm like, what? I don't have any choice. So as a kid, I'm gonna bring this up now. I created my own American Chillers book.
There you go.
You what?
I did.
It's on
It was
Amazon.
called Vicious Vampires in Vermont. I know. Do I know anything about Vermont? No. I assume that Vermont
Knows about
has.
Vicious Vampires.
I was just gonna say
Yeah.
I know more about vampires than Vermont.
And it was supposed to be like these kids, they find this in this big tree, they find this coffin, and in the coffin is a vampire, and the vampire awakens, and he goes to find his other vampire buddies to destroy the world, and they have to they find a ghost who fought in the Civil War, and that's when the vampires started coming out.
I think
going
at that
on
point
in
you just
Vermont.
kind of
And
lost.
they go on all
It's
these
like,
adventures.
let's go.
I keep forgetting.
I was
that
so proud of it.
I already forgot that you said you wrote it, and I was like, I think I want to read this.
I was so proud of it, and then they came out with another one in Vermont. And like I said, I knew nothing about Vermont. I just need something that starts with the letter V because I want to talk about vampires. And this was pre-Twilight days.
Right. These were real vampires.
Turned into a Halloween
Yeah.
episode.
I was just gonna.
It was pretty
we
great.
talk exclusively about.
So what's up with pumpkins?
Come on. What's the deal
Are
with
they
pumpkins?
squash? Are they melons?
Is this a vegetable, a fruit? I'm not eating it. Hot take on pumpkins here at the Pizza Hummus podcast. What do you guys got to talk about to promote yourself? I will say, you know what I liked is we put on at the end of the roast battle in November. We put on the your song,
Talk to me.
"Talk to Me," and everyone they didn't know what it was, but all the other comics were vibing out to it and they loved it. It was great.
I like that. That's
Everyone
good news.
everyone clearly liked it. They were like, okay, cool, and everyone was into it. It was like, the post show music and just
Yeah.
leave music.
Why isn't it the pre-show music?
Diana Ross was there, so we had to.
No, yeah, after our shows, I like to promote like you guys. I like to promote the university, so I like to play like a lot of those songs because one, it's songs that maybe not everyone's gonna hear, and also it's promotion for you guys, and it kind of provides the show with something a little bit new. Whereas if we just played whatever the top hit was that day, okay, it's fine or whatever, but. No, I mean people were really liking it. I think you even asked. You were like, "Hey, can you send me their Spotify link so I can?"
Add
Some
it to
comedians
my
were really liking
Shoelace
it.
Swishers.
That's pretty awesome. That's pretty
So,
sweet.
what made you guys decide? Okay, we want to start a rap group, Shoelace Swishers. Give us the whole story.
So we kind of we've always just wanted to be doing music. Kind of like we all gravitated. I mean, I know you guys grew up. You guys were in bands and everything.
He was pretty much over our house all
Yeah,
the time.
I was
so
over
he
there
pretty
every
much grew up
single
with
day.
us.
So then we kind of just we're like, okay, well, what genre are we gonna do? And we messed around with a bunch of other genres, and then we're like, well, we never really tried rap, so let's try it. And I've been writing down lyrics since I was a kid, so.
I remember that third grade, he'd be rap battling kids.
Oh, really?
Third grade, he had a notebook. It was called Austin's Raps.
Yeah.
I seen it one time. I don't know where it's at now.
Most people have seen it one time and then they die right after via rap battle wounds.
Yeah.
It's like Austin's death note.
You know what's funny? Just picture that. It's just like all other third graders are just like not even kind. They're just fully defenseless. It's like trying to how many third graders right now you think you can beat up at a time. Like that's what that is. Anyone just like, hey, I rap, and everyone's like, well, clearly no one else does. You want a battle, and everyone's like, well, I guess not.
Let me just quote like whatever Linkin Park album came out this
Right.
year.
One thing, and I don't know why.
It's like, well, I think that disqualifies you, sir.
It's pre-written. It's all freestyle.
You know how many 8-year-olds I've beaten in a rap battle?
So, cause like I know you play piano,
Yes.
drums. Do you play guitar? You play a little bit of guitar, right?
Yeah.
Play a little bit
It's
of
not
guitar.
my best.
You were trying to get Austin to play bass in your band.
Yeah, we originally tried to start like a rock band.
Yeah, we tried to. Yeah,
It started off as a screamo band
Okay.
because that was a thing. Mm-hmm. And then
And then we're like, oh, nobody can scream? Well, probably not a screamo band.
Yeah,
then.
we'll probably do something
in
else.
the name of the
and then we were gonna call it the Victory Speech, and then we didn't have a single band practice whatsoever, so we had nothing made.
We also
You had a name.
didn't have
We had the
vehicles.
Right.
We didn't have vehicles at the time, so
Yeah.
We just had a bass player, a drummer, and another drummer that may play guitar.
Yeah.
And that was it. Like, all right, victory
I
speech.
can't believe this didn't work out.
Yeah, it seems like you had all the
Devastating.
pieces together. I don't know.
For some reason, we're not playing at DTE yet. But, it's whatever.
So then you guys started getting into rapping. Now I know, with like my brother Anthony, you guys would make a lot of like parody rap songs. You
Oh,
make a
yeah.
lot of goofy songs.
We'd write raps a lot, but they always end up being funny. We never actually try to write serious rap.
We couldn't
It's
do a
kind of
serious,
like what we did with videos. We can never make a serious video. It's always
Yeah.
got to be funny. That's just an easy go-to.
That way you don't have to be vulnerable.
Exactly. So then
We were just joking.
so we're like, let's actually try a serious rap, and that's just what we did.
Yeah. And then it ended up working out, so we were like, okay, let's just keep going with this, see where we can take it, which is what we're doing right now.
So because I know a lot of rappers, they're just kind of by themselves, but you guys decided, hey, let's turn this into like a rap group.
Yeah.
Now, it's mainly just you two guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But don't you guys have guest stars and you have like other people?
We're trying to get. We want to make have a song that has the most features ever. I don't know why.
Yeah.
That was just the
Okay.
goal. So we have the song called "Everybody on It." So we have a bunch of features, so everybody's on it.
It's like all of our like local, because a lot of the people we know, especially like our age group, is really like super involved in music around here. So
and,
it's,
and rap is like the most common listened to
Yeah.
thing in our age group. I don't know if it's for you guys. I don't.
we're trying to do that right now. That's like a main goal. We're having people come and record pretty much like every night.
Yeah.
Most of the time.
Wow.
Yeah.
I think it's the song. I think it's called "Oldie" by Odd Future.
Oh yeah, that like 10-minute song where it's
Yeah,
the whole
that's,
group.
that's a 10-minute song of the whole group. So you're gonna have to
Well, here's the
compete
thing.
with that.
We have a lot of features, but not a lot of like people on verses.
Yeah,
we
so-
have like a choir. We have like actual people just coming and singing choir parts. We have people singing the chorus, and then we have like we're probably gonna have 3 kids do verses, and then me and Us are gonna go because we don't want. We're like talking like we don't want this song to be 9 hours
yeah,
long.
that's
Yeah.
that was
Because
an
nobody's
issue.
gonna listen to it.
Right.
So we gotta make it shorter. So yeah, we do have a lot of features. The title's gonna be super long. It's gonna say everybody on it, featuring this, da 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 da.
Oh, yeah.
A through Z.
The
Featuring
most commas
everybody.
in a single song
That's what
title.
we could do.
Featuring Greg from accounting.
Yeah, so we kind of like created like a choir, because if you like use those piano sounds like that's on the MIDI, a lot of people, everybody can use the same sound, and we wanted to kind of do something different, so we got a bunch of actual people to record it.
So how did you guys approach getting like a choir of people and recording them?
Through us, we both did choir.
Yeah.
And so that's where most of my friend group was in choir. So I knew these kids would sing, and they always liked music I made. Because I always made like single like piano stuff. And
Yeah.
I'd always play it in class. I didn't realize it was good till everybody started like coming around me like, oh, it's amazing. I'm like, stop. But, jeez. But anyway, so anytime I always like, yeah, I really want to record. I always tell them, they're like, all right, if you want to record, I'll help you out. And then I always end up just like, hey, you were in choir, you can sing, come record. People are like, oh yeah, I'll record anything. And so, yeah, and that's how we got people. And then I pick out like, all right, we need someone to sing a low note. I'll pick out a bass, or it'll be me, because I was a bass. And then like, oh, we need someone to sing high. We'll get a girl that can sing high. It was kind of like that. We kind of had contacts. But
Yeah.
it's whatever.
I mean, that's perfect because it's not like they're like, especially when they're fresh out, for the most part, fresh out, like it's prison. Fresh out of high school. High school is a prison.
That's why there was no windows in our school.
Oh, throwback to the table.
It's not like they're like, you're like, hey, you want to come sing real quick? They're like, no, I'm busy with other people also asking me to sing.
No, yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of people in choir. There's also a lot of drama kids. They're like, oh, I miss high school. I miss it so much. There are a lot of those people like, I'll do anything to go back. I'm like that.
Or get like a
unfortunately.
creative outlet at all because not everyone pursues it on their own.
Yeah,
you
and
know?
it's almost kind of like guaranteed. Like this person knows how to sing. This person's gonna know how to deal with harmonies. That's
Yeah.
you do in choir. You're used to harmonies.
So then I guess what is your guys' plans? You know, so like you're
question.
recording stuff and
Well, so we want to put out an album, which we're thinking what, like March
March or May.
anywhere in between there. It's because we're trying to get it recorded right now, and then we want to put it out eventually, like play shows and stuff. That's what we love to do.
That's our main goal. Put out a couple songs, most 5, but we're just gonna put out an
I
album.
mean, the goal is DTE, but
You know, right. Obviously.
yeah, yeah.
Play at the shelter.
The hardest thing is getting the music out there. But once you get it out there, then it's like it could catch fire. You see kids like blowing up from making songs in their mom's basement now,
yeah.
which is
Yeah.
crazy.
And another thing with that is like it's kind of what we're trying to do is it's gonna be a little bit harder for us to get like a following because it's gonna be harder, but it's also gonna be easier. It's gonna be harder because a lot of kids don't listen to they listen to rap, but they listen to like mumble rappers. People go like they just add a lot of reverb and a lot of
Auto-tune.
and all that, and we're trying not to do that because we literally made a song in like 5 seconds doing that, just mumbling, and it sounds amazing.
Right.
Don't get me wrong, it's very easy to do, but we're trying to do something. We're trying to be more lyrical.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's what's kind of not really in today's rap. Is there's a couple of lyrical guys, like I know like Logic is probably one of the most lyrical artists I've ever listened to, but there's a lot of people who aren't like that anymore. They're kind of just, I feel like it's like a 70-30 ratio. Like 70% of the people are listening to the beat and 30% are like, what? Okay, this guy's, got some good lyrics here, even though you can't even understand them.
Yeah.
Now I want to know why. I don't want to make fun of anyone's taste, but if you're listening to mumble rap, or I'm assuming it's that where I'm just like, I don't know why anyone's listening to this. Now, is it just do you guys think it's just like the beat? Like, is it just addicted to the beat and that's it?
I think I think some of
assuming.
it's like with the beat, like, oh, this beat's so good, and other people kind of just do it for almost the meme, like it's funny.
Right.
There are some mumble raps that are good, but just we don't really like that. It's kind of like it's everybody's taste. Some people like screamo music, some people like rap, some people like alternative rock, some people like jazz with like just a horn.
I think it's because people can relate to the beat. Like I feel like if it gets you moving, people are gonna like it.
Yeah,
you know what
like,
I'm saying?
I'm definitely guilty of that, but like,
It's kind of like in Blades of Glory. People need something to get them going.
right, and that's it.
Yeah. I think, at least for me, I usually like to listen to, I focus a little more on the beat usually.
Yeah.
Because
as a musician, you tend to.
As a musician, I tend to do that. And for me, like, I can only listen to rap so long because the beat just starts to become repetitive. If they're not adding anything. They're not really doing a lot of more instrumentation. It's very simple 4/4 timing.
You know what?
So I assume that with people with mumble rap, they see the mumbling part is more of a beat rather than a higher lyric to listen to. It's it's part of the instruments that are going on.
Yeah.
The beat that I can see is repetitive though is the Despacito. It's just the.
Oh yeah.
Any single song like that where it's like it's speaking Spanish, it's always that drum beat. I have yet to find one that isn't though.
But then like every hip hop song is like boom, boom, boom.
Just more space in between the bass.
Like the extremely fast hi-hat.
See, that's why, that's kind of why I kind of gravitated more to rap. Because I know you guys were like always playing instruments and kids and stuff. And I was like, I didn't really want to take the time to learn it. Like, I kind of just wanted to do it.
I was lazy.
Yeah, I was lazy. So
I had no discipline.
And it's like the way like the people were talking. I'm like, oh, I feel like I could do that. Like, it's just I know how to talk.
Right.
Don't get me wrong. I know how to talk on that. Yeah. So I'm like, okay, well, I just put a couple words together that make sense and rhyme. And so I just practiced that, and that's how I got
poetry to a beat.
Yeah, it's really all it is, rhythm and poetry.
Just Vince Vaughn and talk your way to the top.
But now I'll say this though. Then you have rappers like Eminem who create a story to some of their stuff, and I'm like, this is genius. You know?
Yeah.
Like he's one of my favorite rappers of all time. And the big stuff of that was just because he always felt like he was creating a story, he was creating an alter ego. So like then I started to kind of focus even more on lyrics because of that. Yeah. So I appreciate that type of stuff as well.
Exactly, yeah.
But I think for the most part, like if you're at a club or if you're just driving and you just want to get pumped, you just want to listen to something that just has a really like heavy, intense beat. And the guy, as long as the guy is saying like positive things like I'm the best, I can beat everybody up, I'm the coolest, I get all the girls, and you're just like, yeah, I can beat everybody up, I can get all the girls, and then you drive in and you do your accounting.
It's funny because that's what we talk about in lyrics. We're like, we can write about that, like writing stuff like
so easy.
I get
to
all
write
the
that
girls,
stuff.
I get all the money,
It's
do all
easy
the
to-
drugs, I
yeah.
party all
Yeah.
the time. It's so easy, and that's why people like it because it's easy and it's easy for them to follow along to people who aren't musicians. They're like the boom, ka, boom, boom, boom. They okay, they can feel it, and then. But what we try to do, we didn't want to talk about that because that's just not who we are.
Yeah.
Like a lot of people, like the SoundCloud rappers, like you already know who it is. People who've never heard before.
You already know.
That's like a mama thing. Yeah, you know it's Juice Manny. You're like what?
That's the thing.
Greg from across the street.
That's the thing about lyrics is I feel like I like lyrics that have a message, and I feel like if you are saying something that you're not doing, you're not putting emotion, and it's not going to hit somebody the same way it
Yeah.
would if you were, you know, I've actually been through this. I've actually been there. Let me help you get out of there. You know what I'm saying?
It's not authentic.
It's gonna be
Exactly.
more genuine. Yeah.
Yeah, and I feel like that's what's not really in rap today as much as it used to be. Because I feel like, you know, they started doing that back in the 80s where it was, you know, New York was poor, and then rappers like, oh, I've been there. And then I feel like it gravitated to, okay, now Eminem's, you know, telling a story about a fan who's obsessed with them. And then right then and there, just like, okay, we discovered what lean is. So let's just, and the mic the whole
Oh, we
time.
discovered what.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, no, I feel like that's it. Like, so, like, because I think that's it for sure. A big reason I like Eminem as well is because it's a story, but it's not always the same story. So there's him dealing with the potential guilt of Stan, the fan. There's him angry at his mom or his ex-wife. There's him being protective of his daughter. And then there's him being, I'm great. So these are all different categories, but I think a lot of people found that the I'm great category is easy to fill. Because less emotion
you make
is needed.
stuff up and it's just exaggerated as much as possible.
It's definitely desired because everyone needs that. I'm on my way to a job interview. I'm on my way to this. I need to.
Yeah, get you pumped up.
I don't want to remember that I suck. Remind me that I'm great, and then you positive affirmations. But like that's been overfilled, and we need more. But sad rap.
See, it's funny because like a lot of rappers, like you're saying, like remind me, like I'm great. A lot of rappers like, nah, you're not great.
No,
you're
no.
terrible.
I'm
the best.
it's
I was
literally
like,
just
yeah, he is the best.
Did you guys listen to his newest album? Eminem's.
Yeah.
He kind of does that the whole time.
yeah.
He kind of says how great he is the whole entire time.
But see, that's the thing though. When you listen to the song, if you're listening to it and he's saying I'm the greatest, he doesn't say Eminem's the greatest. He says I'm the greatest. So you, in turn, if you start saying the lyrics, you're saying
about positivity?
I'm the greatest.
Just in the mirror, just like
I am the greatest.
I'm smart. I'm beautiful. People know me.
Yeah, like that's like the
pretty
other thing.
spoiled in my
The other thing I
class.
think about too is because there's always. I feel like when it comes to things like country and things like like song like country and hip hop, a lot of the musicians tend to just kind of pander to like one set of ideas or ideals.
a lot of similarities
because-
between genres.
And one is like talking about how I'm the best, I can do all these great things, I got all this money, I'm the
all
tough
about
guy.
partying.
And then the other one is like I'm just a simple guy, I'm just a regular American hard-working guy, I got my truck, I got my tractor, my dog died, but that's okay.
Got my blonde haired girl.
I got my blonde haired girl and her Daisy Dukes, like and then this guy's he's got hoes and her Daisy Dukes, but he doesn't say Daisy Dukes. But it's just creating this idea to where like when you listen to country, you all of a sudden have this mindset of like, oh, I'm this character, I'm this like
it's a
person,
nice,
and then when you listen to
simple
hip hop, you go, I'm this character. But then you have jazz, it's just like
Jazz is the
and you're
best.
it is the best.
Love jazz.
It is the best.
It is the best.
And that's why. I guess that was the point I wanted to get at. Jazz is the best.
It really is. Like
We got the jazz. We got the jazz. Tribe Called Quest.
here's the thing. I feel like a lot of people think that rappers only listen to rap. Like
No.
Yeah.
I feel like that's what a lot of people think. They're like, oh, you rap, so you listen to rap.
Oh, so you rap? So if I put two to two together?
But
Well, when you say it like that,
okay, me and Tino listen to everything.
Yeah.
We listen to Screamo, we listen to dubstep, like whatever. You know?
I actually listen to Baroque music, which came before classical music, and that's how I make my beats.
That's like the ultimate hipster.
What's Baroque?
Baroque is like, how classical music is? Like the Beethoven and Bach and all
It's
that.
before that.
It's this music
Is it
before
someone
that.
hitting a rock with a stick?
So, so here's what it is. Classical music is more like focused on like piano. It's like
Baroque is piano.
No, it's classical.
You're classical. He's getting defensive. Okay, go on. Sorry.
So anyways, yeah, Baroque is kind of just, it's not focused on piano, it's everything more of like, I don't know, whenever you see like the movies in like the 1800s, it's like
1800s movies?
yeah.
Oh, take
You don't do
place
that?
in the 1800s.
Yeah.
Not made. Went back in time.
I'm
and
having a
made
great
movie.
day, everybody. All right, keep going, Tino.
So and it's funny because if I try to, like, a lot of people are like, oh, if I want to write rap, I'll listen to rap to get some inspiration.
Yeah.
I try to do that. I can't do it. I have to listen to Baroque or classical. I don't know why,
Oh yeah.
but for some reason, whenever I wear that, like whenever I listen to that, and I also have a white MTV hat. Whenever I wear it too, I don't know why. It's just, it's one of those things people are like, well, if I want to have a good day, gotta wake up, gotta put my socks on, then my shirt.
Blue socks.
Right.
Gotta put on the blue socks, start with the left foot. I don't know why, but
If it worked. Well, there is a thing called the Mozart effect, where in actual, like, clinical studies, people performed better on tests when
yeah.
Mozart was playing in the background. And it's
Yeah.
like,
Yeah, they say to play that in a baby.
Yeah,
Reminds
I
me
hear
of-
that's they always say that.
There's
Genius.
there's another thing that they did this study of, like, they study people, like, whatever their IQs were, and I guess they were all the same age, but it was just different IQs what they listened to, and it showed, like, the lower IQs would listen to, like, certain stuff, and the higher IQs would listen to, like, more classical stuff. But even so, like, you listen to the problem. My thing is, I like listening to jazz more than classical. But let's say jazz, for example. There's so many things going on. There's so many different
Get
instrumentations.
your brain working.
It's different times. Yeah, it gets your brain. Like, it makes you kind of think because you have to kind of follow along.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas if you listen to the same song that just goes boom, 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 all of a sudden you don't have to think as much.
You know what's
And
coming
that's
next.
why
And you-
people
and you-
like it, though.
Yeah,
Yeah,
well, that's why we like
true.
it. It's I kind of compare it to almost like candy and then like healthy foods. Like you eat this, like, oh, it tastes great, it feels great, it's great, but like after long periods of time, it doesn't do as well. Whereas if you start listening to all stuff, but I think my best thing is kind of like with every diet, you got to have a little bit of everything. You know?
Oh, yeah.
This
You
is a
can't
great analogy.
Because if you listen to just jazz all the time, you become a douchebag. But also, you become super pretentious.
Someone's
but,
listening to jazz with this and like, what?
Yeah,
I'm going back to jazz.
listen, and I trust me. You put on some Thelonious Monk, and I'm like, boy.
I also feel like with as long if there's no lyrics, that's like step one for me thinking. Like
Yeah.
as long as there's the first step, if there's lyrics, I am not having a single original thought. I am thinking. I might go on like a tangent that's related to the lyrics, or maybe I'll get lucky. But like, I can't have lyrics. It's got to be something where it's leaving a lot of room for me to think. Actually,
See, now for me, it's like sometimes if I do hear the lyrics, then I do get like inspired because I'm like, okay, because that it's not necessarily what the guy's saying. It might be how he's saying it. It might be the
Yeah, that's
flow
true.
of how he's saying it. Because I'm like, ooh, I like that. Like, da 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 da.
I didn't know that existed. or
Yeah,
something.
yeah, that's what I
I
like.
didn't know lyrics existed.
He done changed the game.
I mean, my dad used to always say, like, a musician needs to listen to every kind of music they can because you don't know where you're gonna pull inspiration from.
And it actually helps because a lot of like rap songs take a lot of samples from like jazz, or like even classical.
Oh, yeah.
beats.
Crazy.
Sometimes even rock.
And funk and all
Yeah.
that stuff.
Well, that's for me because that's a weird sentence. That's because I don't listen to a lot of rap. I don't seek it out or a lot of hip hop, but I do like a lot of it. And what ends up getting me into it is something that's more funky or jazz leaning. And then it's like someone holding my hand, and be like, no, it's safe over here.
Yeah.
There's saxophones.
Yeah.
You can listen to this.
Yes.
And I'm like, and that ends up being what I listen to a lot.
Bugging the
Good song. In the realm of like rap and hip hop is if it's related to another genre.
Yeah, and it's funny because a lot of rappers, like me and Austin, what we try to do is we wanted to make rap, but we also liked alternative music, like Bad Sons. Check them out if you haven't heard them.
Yeah,
They're pretty
great.
good.
Great
And
band.
so what we're trying to do is we're trying to kind of mix the two. That's why in the choruses there's a lot of singing
So many harmonies and like.
and there's harmonies
yeah.
and stuff. So that way people who like don't necessarily like rap, but they like alternative music, they can listen to that and like they're like, all right, the rap's okay, but the choruses are really catchy.
That's why I like the I don't know why I can't think of the name.
Talk to
Talk to me. That's why I like that.
Yeah.
Because it's catchy. On my November playlist, I think. December playlist.
It should be on everybody else.
A lot of people
Spotify.
say, like, it's funny, nobody's like, oh yeah, that was a good song. A lot of people are like, I really like the chorus or I like the verse. It's usually generally the rap fans who like, the verse because it's just getting, I'm telling you what you're gonna do in the whole verse, and they're like, yeah, I like that storytelling, what you're doing.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like
And then the choruses is like, people are like, who generally like pop music are gonna like that. So we kind of combine the two and want a new sound because
yeah, it's a sound that's not done a lot.
Exactly, yeah.
It definitely has been done.
Yeah.
But it's kind of like, it kind of makes us stand out. Because everyone else, all the kids my age, they just go on YouTube, free rap beat. And then they take it and then they rap to it. And then it's always just rap. And then the choruses in raps are always like just repeat the same lines, but it's never like singing.
Yeah.
It's always like, yeah, I did this. What? You did that. Yeah, I just did. It's always like stuff like that. So we're like, we'll just sing because that's when we try to do victory speech. It was trying to be like alternative rock music. And then so we'd write a bunch of stuff, but we never actually recorded them. So we take some choruses that we made before and then just apply them to the rap.
Yeah.
What was I gonna say now? Well, I guess it's good that with you guys, you have some experience with real instrumentation.
Yeah.
And you're not just, like I said, going on YouTube and just finding, like, a free rap beat, but you can actually create something. And I always liked when there's certain rap songs where you can hear, like, there's just a bunch of different instrumentation. There's different stuff going on. Maybe they pulled it from other songs. I don't know. But it's just kind of, it feels better than just, it just sounds like a drum machine. Like my thing is, because I'm a crotchety old man now, but like I feel like every new song is just someone crying and their drum machines in the background. Like it's just someone being really sad or being happy, and it's just a basic drum machine template in the background. And I'm like, why isn't anyone getting more complex than this? Why is it just
it's crazy,
bass drops and then someone just like, oh, it's gonna cry. Boom. I'm like, this is the same song.
It's funny because like how like the genres of what most people are aimed towards to, like in music. It originally, when rap first started, I'm broke, but they almost humbled themselves. Like, it took me so much, I worked so hard to get up here. And then kind of in the early 2000s, it's like, oh, I get the girls, I do this. And then the more 2010s around there, it was more of like, yeah, I get the girls. I also got a lot of money, and I'm gonna flex on you, which is
right.
Yeah. And then now they've kind of transitioned into like depression.
Yeah,
I don't need.
Everybody's depressed. They're like, nobody likes me, and everyone's like, I can relate.
it's crazy how many people listen to that stuff though. Like, you'd think like this guy crying in the microphone is not gonna get many listens, but turns out he's like one of the most highest, grossing plays on Spotify or something. It's crazy.
And it's kind of funny because when people hear that, they start to get depressed, and they think, now I'm depressed. I'm not saying everybody who listens to it is depressed or like isn't depressed, but I'm saying it kind of gets you in that depressed mood, which is kind of weird. Cause some people are like, you know what? There's times where people are like, I just want to cry.
I
just want to cry.
It's totally funny how I'm assuming this is a relatable thing that other humans do, but like when I'm like sad, I'm just like, well, let's turn this up a notch.
Let's put on some Sam Smith.
Yeah. Let's see how sad we can get.
See, I can't do that. When I'm sad, I don't want to listen to sad music. It's just gonna make me more sad.
Yeah.
So I have to put on like something,
that gets you hyped up.
Give me hype. I put on something upbeat.
I mean, that's probably healthier.
Yeah.
As opposed to just like, oh, I'm in pain.
We're gonna ride this
baby to hell.
And then another thing we also try to do is, since this is just us two, we try to tell, like, if we have a story like, all right, a guy falls in love with the girl, just say that.
Yeah.
And then like, the girl's mean or the guy was mean whatsoever, and then they end up breaking up. What we try to do is like someone, like for me in our song Dreams, which is out, you guys should listen. We talk about a guy who's like, say like in high school, he talks to this girl, hits off great, then after a while they kind of just separate, doesn't work, she ends up being mean and all that stuff. I tell the story of how they met and how they became, and then in the chorus kind of talks about the transition, then Oz talks about the aftermath.
Yeah.
So we don't try to talk about the two same things. We try to like tell like the before and after.
Yeah.
Or like if it was a guy and a girl liking each other, I would do like the girl's point of view, and then he'd do the guy's point of view.
Yeah. So it's an actual story.
So people can like get both sides of the story. And that's just,
which pulls you in more, at least it would to me.
Yeah.
One thing I thought was really interesting with Talk to Me was the art that you guys decided to do. So you guys had the photo of both you guys just on your phones.
Yeah.
in the studio.
And it says Talk to Me. I just for some reason it was really weird, because it was like, oh, like when you're thinking of, can you talk to me, you're thinking of, can we like talk in person?
Yeah.
But you're well, no, you guys aren't millennials, you guys are
Or
the
Generation
next,
Z.
you're Gen Z.
Yeah.
So but you're at a point where like the you think of that idea of the whole communication is just through the phone. Like, I just want you just to text me back or whatever. You guys are on your phones. You're not talking to each other.
And like some of the lines in that song too are about phones, like phone don't shine, like something like that.
Yeah.
Like, and that's how I feel like communication is now.
Oh, yeah, it's all through the phones.
And I feel like that kind of ruins it a little bit.
Oh, it does.
you
A
think?
lot of
I feel like it
real
really
bad.
does, because I see people who are shy to talk to somebody in real person, but then they can text somebody 5 paragraphs.
That is.
Oh, yeah.
I just
me
think it's funny
100%.
how
Yeah.
it just goes on and on.
And then they
on.
respond with
Richie's been part of my group chat.
You guys should write a song about the 3 dots. Just waiting on the.
Ooh,
be 10 minutes long, because that's how long you're waiting.
You want to
for.
know what's funny? That album artwork cover, it wasn't like we thought like, oh, it's because he's on his phone and he's looking at it. We were like, this picture looks cool.
I think and
And then we didn't realize till after, like, oh, you know what? Good thing we chose this
Yeah.
because
Justify. It turns out there's just a guy who's like, I'm gonna take one picture of you, and you guys are like, what? That was the whole picture.
yeah, we had our buddy he's up at GV, so
Oh,
I know like
sweet.
he's doing I don't know
he's doing photography.
He's doing photography.
Yeah.
So
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so then he's like, we asked him if he could take pictures of us because that's just what high schoolers did.
Right.
That's the thing. Like, oh, I want professional photos. And so, yeah, he came over and he just took a bunch of pictures, and that's the one we just ended up liking. So we just put talk to me on it. Like, all right,
Justified it
this is
after the
cool,
fact.
right?
I
See,
like it.
to me, it felt as if you guys. It was unconscious. I didn't think it was a conscious decision that you guys were making like a statement on phones.
No.
Yeah.
I saw it
No,
as
no,
an
no.
unconscious thing of that's how you communicate. So that made sense to you.
That's so funny.
That's what
how
I thought was
everyone
interesting.
Sees that differently.
Yeah.
Because if my if you would have said, okay, the song's called "Talk to Me" and you want it, I'm assuming it's about someone calling them back or whatever, and then you ask your mom, what would she be like? Well, I'd probably have someone like waiting by the phone, or
Yeah.
someone like holding a phone, or I'd have someone like two people, they're trying to talk but the other person's not listening.
And there's a wall in between them.
And there's a wall in between them or something like that. You guys were like, let's just have we're just sitting there waiting on our phones. And everyone kind of had, and like a lot of people, especially when they're dating and stuff, they have that feeling. Funny story, when my wife and I, when we were first dating, I finally brought up the courage to ask her out on text like a man.
Right.
And so she's at this camp for something. I think it was band camp or something.
One time
Anyways,
band
we
camp.
dated in high school, and so she was gone for a week. And I go, oh yeah, what'd you do? She goes, oh, what'd you do last night? I said, oh, I watched Transformers 2, and it was horrible. But she's like, oh, I watched Transformers 2. She goes, oh, that's cool. She goes, I want to see it one day. So I text back, well, maybe we can see it together. And I didn't get a response for 24 hours, and I was like, it's over.
See?
It's gone. She hates me.
I hate
blew
Lauren
it.
now.
I blew it. And then she finally responded later like, hey, sorry, we couldn't use our phones for today. Yeah, that sounds good.
My phone fell in a trumpet. I'm sorry.
But for 24 hours, I was just in this dark abyss of like, what have you done?
Well, I've been.
It's
I was
over.
gonna say, yeah, like
You ruined it.
right.
isn't
You
it
need to
kind of
talk to me.
crazy that like when somebody doesn't respond to us fast, we like automatically think that
You put
something
all the
bad
pieces
is,
together.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like, oh my
Oh,
god, I
imagine-
said it wrong.
I can't tell you how many times I've hated Richie because Richie does that thing where he just never responds, and I just go. Now I got to be like, oh, it's just Richie. He's just a bad person.
Right.
But before I was like, what is his deal?
You know what's funny
Did
is-
I upset him? Like,
have-
what happened? I was like, I should call his mom and just make sure everything's okay.
Hey, is Richie all right? Is he over there? He probably is. He probably came over there to
he-
deal with what I said.
Yeah.
I think
It's 4 a.m, Vince. So what are you doing?
I think it's hard to capture emotions. Like that's probably the hardest thing with texting is capturing emotions.
That's what it is.
It's the tone of voice
Yeah.
too.
And clearly you both are. But I'm such a talker. Words and how you say them matter so much to me.
I agree.
Texting shouldn't be for me. That's not for me.
It's not for me really
I'm
either.
not good. I'm self-conscious.
Yeah.
And I talk.
we have a system, and it's not an original system, but we have to end every sentence with LOL or haha.
Obviously.
Not just because it's funny or joking, but to say, hey, I'm not trying to kill you. I don't
yeah.
hate your guts.
Right.
I just end with LOL, so that way you know, like, oh, or like with my wife, we'll do like smiley faces or
Yeah,
something.
I always do laughing
I
face.
need a
because
smiley face.
sometimes
Something-
you type, it sounds like you're being mean.
Right.
So
You're
that way
being a
it
jerk.
ends the sentence with, oh, you're like, this is the mood I'm in, a happy,
I
good
honestly
mood.
think it's important. It's like it's kind of funny because of how you need emoji, but like no, you need an indicator of what these words are behind.
The best video to watch for that is the Key and Peele.
That's
You ever
so
seen that one, the
funny.
text message thing?
Oh right, I'm on my way. Oh this.
Yeah, and he's so
Oh,
mad.
he's so
And he brings like a sword.
You know what I was thinking about? Similar to when you were talking about you and Lauren and first dating. So my mom and my dad met at my mom worked at the mall, and in a retail store. My dad walked by. He asked her out. My mom said no, and then
Then they got married.
and then they walk, and then he walked by like a month later, and she sent her friend, "Go grab him. Go grab that guy. Ask me out. See if he's still interested." And so he asked her out, and then they go, and then every story from your parents is like, and then 34 years later, here we are. No.
Time
Go
jump.
back. What happened? Because it doesn't make any sense to me. Is you go, okay, all right. You want to go out on a date? That sounds great. This is how they talk back then.
I'm good man, she's good woman.
Right. You want to go out? And what did you? Okay, I'm assuming. Okay, I can put my pieces together. You wrote your number. I'm assuming they had pens back then. I don't know. You wrote your number on a piece of paper. Here you are.
They didn't have writing devices back then, Richie. What are you talking
They typed it on a typewriter candle.
Nice, some good smoke signals. Maybe at the Red Lobster.
And then here's my number. And then I'll
married.
see you on Tuesday. And did you trust that he won't die? And remember, no one did everyone have a planner? How did this happen?
That's how it.
And that number-
Is that
They
what
didn't-
happened?
Yeah,
That number,
probably.
unless she lived alone, that number wasn't her number.
It's her
There was
parent.
like 16 other family
She
members
had-
in there. She had to hope that that person would answer.
Yeah, 5, 6
And they'd be like,
siblings.
"Hey, can I talk to Kendra?" Yeah, and you just had to hope that Kendra was gonna answer the phone later.
God forbid my grandparents answered, "Hey, what's up? This is Richie's dad. Is Richie's mom available?"
Just your dad just has
Who's
high-pitched
Richie?
voice.
I'm from the future. All right. And hope it's like a reasonable dad who's like, "Oh, you want to talk to my daughter, strange voice? Well, here you go." Because that's how my grandpa sounded.
Don't murder. Give it away.
You always hear that. Go get the phone. Screaming.
Lori, someone named Bill, it's Rich, is on the phone.
Do you guys think it's easier now to go and ask somebody out on a date versus back?
No,
I don't think so either. I think it's harder.
not at all.
I think what you're talking about with phones,
Yeah, with
has
phones and
made
everything.
it harder.
Do you think it made it
in
harder?
general.
And social media.
Because here's the thing, you think it would make it easier if I just gotta text them and they'll
Oh,
say
I guess
yes or
for
no.
texting, yeah.
But
maybe.
but then at the same time, it's like, what words do I gotta use? Because I feel like it's natural,
You gotta
like
make
in
sure they
person, like,
interpret it
hey,
right.
you want to go on a date?
Yeah.
But then
Here's
you
the
could
thing.
be like weird about it on text, and it comes across different because you don't know the emotions.
That's true. I think maybe in person is easier to not creep the other person out.
easy not to mess up. I feel.
Yeah,
like.
because if you're doing it, there's a chance it's going to be a little more natural, and there's some context at that point, as opposed to, "Hello, comma, this is a robot texting you to go on a date." Period.
Now, I've been out of the dating game for a while, but I feel like now it's weird if someone like if your dad goes up to her, unless he's buying something, and is like, "Hey, you want to go out?" She'd be like, "Okay, I've been through my training." Pulls out the pepper spray, sprays
that's
him in
true
the
as
eyes.
well.
Whereas if they find you on Facebook and add you, they can do a whole background check on
That's
you
nuts.
and
Yeah.
and
Kinda,
then
yeah.
decide
Just gotta
whether or
look
not
up
to
your
vouch
name.
you. Whereas before it was like, "Oh, you saw someone. Hey,
Well,
you
yeah.
try to strike up a nice conversation. You try to be polite, and then you might ask them on a date." It's like now it's like if you do that, it's like, what are you trying to murder me?
People
Like,
just talk.
What do you need?
Don't talk to strangers anymore.
Yeah.
Which
Oh,
is.
no.
I mean, I don't.
I never talk to people.
See, I do. That's the thing. If I see somebody at the store, I'm like, "Hey, how's it going?" You know, I try to strike up conversation with somebody because I feel like it's not.
And it's
a lot of
funny,
people don't do that
'cause,
anymore.
well,
That is
yeah.
like,
yeah,
it's funny because that's not normal anymore.
Right.
Yeah.
Which is scary.
Yeah, that's what I meant. As far as that,
if someone
yeah.
came up to us like, "Hey, hello," I'd be like, "Hi."
Yeah.
I've never
Why are you
had
talking to
somebody.
me?
Here's the thing: we always think like, what's gonna happen if you do and go and talk to somebody? But most of the time, it's gonna be like, "Oh, not much, you."
Yeah.
But, like-
kind of on that side of things.
Pours out their whole life story.
Sebastian Maniscalco has that thing when he goes to Chipotle. He goes, I'm always working. Basically saying when I'm out in public, I'm still being nice and being sociable. I feel that pressure because no one is that. So I kind of go out of my way to contradict myself and be like, "Hey, how are you? How's your day?" And I'll like make a joke at a stranger crossing the street. I don't know.
This guy using the crosswalk.
Like you're just doing like 80s stand-up material. Be like, I think someone needs to call the cops.
What's the deal? I don't know. It's just weird, and we don't really take a step back and think about how weird it is.
Yeah, I really hate phones though. Like I do hate phones. I feel like it just takes the personality out of life.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
for sure does.
And I feel like have you guys ever went on a date and somebody's just been on their phone the whole time?
No, I don't.
Isn't that the
Never
worst
talked to
thing
a
ever?
girl.
Yeah.
It's like, what am I doing
I
here?
left.
You did?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Didn't know. She didn't notice.
Walked
like,
up like 3
"What?"
texts later, be like, "All right, back to what validates me." Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
I went on a date with a girl one time and she was on her phone the whole time. I didn't know how to approach it.
Yeah.
I was like, do I tell you, okay, can you please get off your phone?
Yeah.
But then I don't want to sound like a dick.
I don't care that much to wag my finger at you to make you a better person because you're probably
Not gonna become a better.
you're not
person,
going to become a better person. You're gonna
especially
get
on the
worse.
first date.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't stand that. I don't. It makes you almost wonder like, why do people would they be rather sucked into their phone than just when you could
Because
be doing it right
it's
now?
almost less work.
It's less work. What do you mean almost?
like-
It's less work. It's safe. This is going to validate.
And you can also guarantee, like, let's say someone texts you something awkward, you can just turn off your phone and walk away from it.
Yeah.
If you said something
safety
awkward to
net.
me and I just went, I
Just
just
turn
walked
around and
out.
walk away
I was like, what?
Yeah.
You don't have to respond immediately.
No, there's such a protective barrier to it that but it doesn't make sense because not that I'm saying I don't do that, but it blows my mind that humans in general will prefer the phone even out in public. It doesn't make sense, and yet I still do.
I try to not be on my phone when I'm like out in public because I want to be, because I know like there's gonna be something that's gonna happen today that hasn't happened to me normally. Yeah, you know, and like if I'm just on my phone, I'm not gonna get to experience it.
That's a good way to look at it.
And that's
And then yet we made a song about being on phones.
And we did.
It still happens.
Why nobody talks to us.
No one talks to us. But why do you have a picture of you as a baby for dreams?
So it kind of just like I love that picture ever since I was a kid because I thought it was hilarious. It's the way I dress now, but as a baby.
Yeah.
And so we kind of did it because some of the lines in the song, it's like mainly I wrote it about this girl that I wanted to have a future with. And I wanted to have I like that eyebrow right there.
I just think you're like I want to have a future with. I'm like, what?
Well,
I want to have commitment.
It was the first girl that I ever like fell in love with, and I feel like this happens to every single guy especially. It's like, oh, I fall in love with this person. I want to be with them for the rest of my life.
I want them with me forever.
I feel like that's how it is because
You will be mine.
It's almost like a thing like, oh, I don't want any else. I don't want anybody else. And then it's like, oh, I'm too scared of breaking up with this person.
Yeah.
So I kind of did it from like, I got older as the song progressed, and we ended up breaking up, whatever. And I kind of felt like I was a lot like that experience made me a lot older. And then after I broke up, I became a kid again. Like I was like playing, my Xbox and hanging out with all my boys again. And
yeah, girls suck.
So I just put that picture on. I just felt like it was a fitting picture.
I had a weird thing that happened, kind of similar to the kid thing, where I feel like with Richie, you might know, like when we graduated high school and we were starting to go to college and start doing somewhat grown-up stuff. Once I got out of college, I'm like, they're all children in here. But, you start to think like you're growing up. I feel like our first reactions was kind of to like go back to being a kid. Like I was watching Dragon Ball Z a lot more than usual.
You're kind of clinging to it.
We were playing like Super Smash Bros.
That's
until
true.
4 a.m. Now we just do it until 10, like a reasonable adult.
Right.
But it is kind of weird that idea of like you're going back as a kid where you almost kind of reset and you're kind of going back to like, well, what are some fun things I want to do with me and my buddies? And you start to figure like, oh, I used to like this when I was in 5th grade.
Yeah. Well, that's
still like
interesting that was I mean, that's a really deep route to go of how like you just jump fully into it. And you're like, well, this is the new me.
Exactly.
And then it ends and you're like, oh no, I still like Dragon Ball Z. It's a pretty great show.
Yeah.
That's always that weird age in middle school where you can like something, but you can't.
Yeah, you can't
it's
like
not,
anything.
It's not cool to like anything. It's weird.
Middles.
You're at that weird age where you can't ask for toys for Christmas because you're too old.
But you want toys for Christmas.
Yeah, and then you can't ask for like older stuff because you're too young. So you just get socks.
Okay, so I don't get any
Socks are
action
best.
figures, a pack of cigarettes. I don't know. What do I get? I don't know.
Dude, I just remember like 5th grade.
I'm cool then.
5th grade, I was watching like Dragon Ball Z and Fairly Odd Parents and Rugrats and all that. And then like 6th grade, I heard someone say like, you guys watch cartoons?
Oh my god.
We watch MTV's The Real World. I'm like, what?
First off, it's anime.
16 and
Read the
pregnant is
manga,
the new thing.
okay?
I'm still watching Dragon Ball. I love that show. I watch Super all the time.
I know. I need to get back on that.
It's so good.
I have never seen that show. I'm probably gonna get so much hate, but I never actually watched it.
If you want to write your senator
if
about
it makes
starting to watch Dragon Ball Z.
so if it makes you better, I tried to watch it with you when you were a baby, but Mom was like, "No, you can't watch that. He's a baby." I'm like, he needs to know the real world, because the show would always come on Tune Animated around 5:30. It was around dinner time or whatever, right when you got out of school. So I'd want to watch that. And then we'd have to put on Ice Age for the 1,000th time. When you were a
Or
kid.
Transformers.
Or Transformers.
2 with Lauren.
Oh, God.
Jared was the one who got me into Dragon Ball Z like that. Because everything Jared did, I just wanted to do.
Yeah.
So I ended up watching Dragon Ball Z and then went and I used to play Jared's PS2 all the time. So I went and got that Budokai game.
Oh, yeah.
Where it's like the 2D going at it.
Yeah.
And then that's when I kind of got like really big into Dragon Ball Z. And then Jared left to go to GV. And I'm like, okay, I still kind of like this.
Yeah. I remember watching Pokemon a lot.
Yeah.
yeah.
For some reason, I remember watching that, but like I didn't really like that type of show, like the
Yeah.
anime and all that.
It's so funny how judgmental I am, where I'm just like, Pokemon's the best show ever. Wait, you watch Digimon? What are you, a nerd?
And what do you?
What? What are you, a dork?
It's crazy that like I feel like a while ago it used to be accepted as like a nerdy thing to do.
Yeah.
And now it's like almost becoming mainstream.
It's yeah.
It's
like
retro.
Dragon Ball Z is becoming so mainstream.
Everyone grew up and they're like, I think we all just need to admit that we like this.
I hear
Same thing with Star Wars. I mean, Star Wars
Yeah.
was like if someone, I like Star Wars, like nerd. What
Yeah.
what are you 12?
like Star Trek and all that.
Yeah, and now it's like every basic girl coming out of Target is just like Star Wars is my world, and it's
Yeah.
like, oh, I guess we can like this now.
Avengers, same thing.
Avengers, the superhero movies. It's a weird.
I've always liked
You're
those.
you're only nerdy if you complain about how the movie was compared to the comics. Other than that, it's totally cool to like it.
I feel like for the first,
Right, right.
I feel like for the first like couple of millions or thousands of years, I don't know time, like nerd, like anything that was considered like nerdy
Yeah.
was just bad because they couldn't provide or do anything. They were just like, oh, we really like Spider-Man. No one's like, who cares?
Yeah.
Then like once the computers came in and tech, you'd have these tech billionaires. All of a sudden, being a nerd was something like, oh, that's something that you should aspire to.
You could provide.
Because you can provide and you can do things and you can be a baller. Whereas if you're like the bully, you might work, I don't know, as like the janitor with muscles and be like, class of '83. And that's it. But like as a nerd,
you
but
could
like
throw a
now
football
like
over the
nerdy
mountains.
stuff it's almost like now it's a competition of who's the biggest nerd.
Yeah.
Who knows the most about this? Who's the biggest nerd? Sorry guys, I'm a big Star Wars nerd. Okay, don't talk to me about this and that.
Yeah.
What's-
And it's like,
yeah.
geez, it's like, remember when kids used to get beat up? Like, what's,
Yeah.
Now that thing.
and I'm a
is
nerd. I
geeks.
used to get picked on
People
all the
like
time.
video games a lot.
Are-
Anything with video games a lot. Of
Well,
people.
yeah, I mean, especially with Ninja and Fortnite, just making
Yeah,
bank
that's-
playing a free game. What?
I mean, he's doing something right if he's making more than us. So
Yeah.
Yeah,
Isn't that insane?
but I mean,
I want to ask you guys something. What do you think of when you think of a rapper 20 years ago versus a rapper now? Because I think of a rapper like 20 years ago is, talking about the streets and
gangsters.
But now I think of like a rapper is like especially Logic. He kind of embraces being a nerd. Like,
Yeah.
he's talking about
Childish Gambino. same
yeah,
thing.
exactly.
Yeah.
Like I hear rappers now talking about Dragon Ball Z in their lyrics, talking about going Super Saiyan and stuff like that.
Super Saiyan Goku.
I feel like it's crazy how it changed like that.
well, I think part of it too is rap became even more mainstream
Yeah.
to where especially now with the internet and all that good stuff, because it became more mainstream. Like you can't have. Like you guys said, like you guys can't talk about life in the hood and your struggles.
Oh no.
You can't. You just got to talk about what you know.
Exactly.
So as long as you can rap and you could do beats and stuff, you can talk about what you know. And then you're gonna have people who listen to your stuff who have the same experiences. Oh, I love Dragon Ball Z. Oh, I love going Super Saiyan. That's great. I think that's what happened. So rap actually got even more diversified, whereas before it was more limited to a particular group who was like, this is our style of music. And this is what we talk about. This is what we go through. And now it's kind of spread more. You know
I
what
feel like
mean?
you almost have a duty. I feel like of the people who are like they're gonna hear it and they're gonna know you're genuine. That's step one, and then step two, they're gonna actually like your music and your lyrics. And I feel like at that point, your duty is then to, whether they realize it or not, they're like, I want you guys to express my thoughts better than I'm able to, and that's why.
Okay.
That's when they really like it. And I
can
feel like that's the
definitely
same
agree
thing
with that.
with stand-up. Is like, I'm trusting you to make fun of this, if that's the example, better than I can, and that's why it's so. Oh my god, it's so relatable, and yet you're still. It's relatable, but you put it in a word that I could never, or in a sentence that I could never.
But let's think about this, guys. There's so many different outlets now.
Oh yeah.
I mean, there's so many different outlets for people to get big, to where whatever your niche is, whatever things you like, you can find that group. Whereas before, it was limited to, how many record companies were actually going to take rappers. Maybe not maybe not a lot, maybe only very specific ones. And they all had a similar way of life, a similar ideology, whatever. Whereas now, like you said, someone could be in their basement and post a song that's great. There's so many avenues now that it almost eliminates that competition.
It's almost like scary how many people can do it now, because there's got to be so many hit songs that we never even heard.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah.
Because
well, that's with every genre. That's with everything. You know.
Everything.
yeah, because before, if you had a record company, they were the only ones that had your song and they would put it out. Now everybody puts out their own stuff.
Exactly.
And everyone gets like one listen or two.
I mean, you guys aren't millionaires, but you guys actually have a studio in your basement. You know, I mean, even this podcasting stuff. I mean, before it was just only the radio station could do it, and all the equipment cost more money than anyone can afford. Well, now with the markets and free markets and people making stuff
Shout
bigger,
out free
faster.
market.
Yeah, shout out to the free market. It's your boy coming at you. Now things are better. They're less expensive. They're easier to use. And now we can even do stuff like this where we can have a talk show. We couldn't do this 20 years ago. You'd have to hope that you got on the radio for something.
And it's funny because the people who got like the music that comes out today, people won't bring up they do like in 20 years. Like they'll be still talking about like Van Halen or like Journey or like Tribe Called Quest, because back then it's almost funny, like now anybody can sing and now anybody can make a good beat just through computer. You can do anything you want. But back then you actually needed like talent. You needed some sort of talent where the record company would be like, yes, this guy can actually sing without any auto-tune, because they didn't have it back then.
Yeah.
They did, but like it was like, do you believe it?
Right.
It was like that song.
Yeah.
Great song.
And
Look,
then,
that's your first example.
that's the first song that ever used auto-tune.
Yeah.
Was it really?
Yeah, that
that
was
was
the
the-
first song that ever
That's
had
why I love
auto-tune.
that
Yeah.
song so much.
It is.
First ever like hit song, right?
It was
After
more.
the
It was more of an
auto-tune.
effect too at the time. She wasn't like, my singing's bad, I want to improve it. She's like, oh, this is a cool effect, and then it turned into like
People
well,
just
you can-
used it.
So if
to-
you to say you don't like Cher, unsubscribe.
You don't like Cher, you don't like T-Pain.
Yeah.
Pick
And
whoever you like.
And I think that's also why a lot of people don't get as big as they would, because
Yeah.
there's no real talent. Because everyone just goes, oh, that's auto-tune, that's not real.
Yeah.
Or that's like, oh, that's just a machine doing it, which for the most part it is, but you know.
Well, I think too the other part of it is there was less people. So like the people that were super talented were the only ones that could really make it. So those people, since they're so talented, they last. Whereas now, you know, it's a dime a dozen. You can just get you can get as many people as possible. So you start almost getting that addiction of you just want to have a bunch of music, just listen to a bunch of new stuff. So therefore, you kind of forget. Like I collected so many songs, so many albums and stuff when I was a kid, and I don't remember half of those artists.
I remember
anymore.
you had an iPod Classic, had over like
Those
40,000
things were
songs.
beasts.
Yeah.
Those things
Get a
had so
movie
much
on there.
storage.
Right. Do
Oh,
you guys ever
I know.
wonder, like, because you were talking like Van Halen, Journey, things like that? We're still talking about them. People are still going to talk
about
about
this?
them.
Oh my
You still
God.
have it?
God.
I still
You
have
even
it.
got the leather case on
Even
it.
the
Oh,
original
yeah.
case?
Why do you think it still
Yep.
exists? Leather case.
How many songs you got?
Shout out leather.
I'm gonna see. So if I hit all albums, I have on this I have 9,476 songs.
Wow.
And you probably still have about 75% of storage full, like not full, but like able to.
Yeah, let me
more.
look in settings. Yeah, I have 93.2 gigabytes free.
Come on.
That's so much music. That is so much
You have
music.
72 weeks of music right there, and then they were like, you know what? Let's just lower that.
Let's just, hey, too much power. That's a point on too. So like I said, Journey and Van Halen, whatever. They're we're still talking about them. People are going to still, I think, Stairway to Heaven won't ever stop being the best song of all time. That's just me. But you wonder who now is going to be remembered in 30 years, because clearly it's not going to be everyone.
I feel like
Yeah.
Drake is gonna be one of those people who's remembered
Drake,
like that.
Ariana
That guy
Grande,
is
for
destroying
sure.
the numbers. I feel like every single week he has a hit song.
Yeah.
Almost, it's crazy.
Yeah.
But I guess they were saying something about like, because he used to be, I think Lil Wayne discovered Drake, and he used to be on a record label, the Cash Money, Young Money one.
Yep.
And now, since he started his own one, he got artists. But I guess like I guess he takes some of the artist material.
Or
and, like,
steals it.
Not steals it, but like they have it. And he just goes, oh, that's your best stuff? All right, well, I'll take it and make a hit song out of it. So I wonder how many...
Oh, you're kidding.
I wonder how many of those people... Like, obviously, he's going to pay him for
Right.
it, but
Jake
it's like...
just
He's
writes a
basically
diss to us.
voluntelling them that you're my writer.
Yeah.
Here's,
Yeah,
I mean,
it's kinda-
here's part of it too, though, because they probably get huge stacks of money
Exactly.
for that and royalties and stuff. So it's not like he's like stealing it and screwing everybody over.
Yeah.
But the thing that people don't realize is a lot of these big rappers, it's a full production.
Yeah.
I mean when
Oh, yeah.
I mean they have so many different writers. They have people whose job is just to scour the internet, scour every record, vinyl, whatever, and try to find like a new beat to create from.
Yeah,
I
digging
mean,
in the crates.
it's a huge, like, almost think of it almost like a movie production. Like the
Yeah.
director
Yeah.
is the rapper, and then they probably have producers, investors, and stuff, and then they just have a crew of people just doing all this stuff, helping them write. Yeah,
And-
it's not just like a guy sitting there writing on his notepad and being
Yeah.
like,
how it
"Hey,
started, but,
do
you
a
know.
beat to this." That's probably what it started, but it's just not like that anymore.
We'd probably
I mean,
do the
it's a
same thing though
huge
if like
production.
we had all that money. Like we'd probably write some of our stuff, but like we'd probably hire someone like, hey, make a beat for us,
Right.
And then it'd be working for us, and we give them money.
See, I don't
and
know,
then
the way-
we'd put in our intake.
The way I
Yeah.
feel about that is I like to write my own stuff just because I feel like I'm not gonna have as much emotion as somebody else writes it for me.
Yeah.
That's how I feel.
And it's,
Like, I don't know.
it's
but-
kind of funny how you say like the whole production thing, because like a lot of like what people don't realize, like if you're like a musician who wants to like get big, you're pretty much, when it comes down to it, because Anthony said this, he's like, you're pretty much a clothing company, and the way to sell your clothes is through your music. Like your music is like your per se commercials,
Yeah,
you know.
Is it clothes
doesn't-
literal?
You like clothes,
Or is
like
it-
because people have like Drake has his own shirts, and like you
yeah.
buy his shirts because it's Drake's shirt, and you hear Drake and you like his music. So I'm gonna buy his shirt.
Okay.
And it gets bigger than clothes, but like if you're like a starting local band, usually your merch is like T-shirts
That's what
or like
keeps you
hats.
going.
yeah, that's
And then
that's
the
what-
way you promote it
make
is
your
because that's where you also make all your money, because you
That
go
and
play a show.
touring, yeah.
You go play your show, and the place like it'll cost you $300 to perform the whole show, and they'll pay you here's 25 to split up between like 8 people.
Right.
$25.
Yeah.
Make a lot of money off tours. That's why you have all these bands who are like, oh, this is our last ever tour. And then they come back, they're like, okay, well, this one's
This
the
one's
last
totally
one.
the last one.
well,
All right,
'cause
well, maybe a couple more, and then there will be your last one.
Right.
back in the day, tours made no money.
Really?
Tours were just a investment to advertise a new album.
Exactly.
Because the album, people would go to the store and buy the album. So they would make these great albums, and then they wouldn't tour as much, and they would just make money off of people buying the albums. Well, when people stopped buying the albums, then they were like, crap, we have to like do shows. And that's why shows started to get much more expensive and much more extravagant, because they weren't making money off CD sales anymore.
And
I mean,
yeah.
you pretty much barely, I don't know if they do it now, maybe through Spotify or something, but
And it's actually being
it's a whole different market. And like I said before, and then like the t-shirts and stuff, that was just like advertisement. I mean, it really wasn't that big of a deal. Now it's like we have to make sure that people buy our merch,
Yeah.
they buy our clothes, they do this stuff. You know, you want your songs featured in movies and featured in other stuff, so you can get royalties that way, because you're not getting it from I made a song and people are buying it.
people now
And I'm
just
making money by people buying it in the stores. It's not like that.
people can
anymore.
get it for free, and
Yeah.
you can get anything for free, like not like product wise, but like movies. You can get for free. You can look up like, oh, Transformers 2 free movie,
You came up 4 times.
and then it'll pop up.
Yeah.
Or then and now with songs you can do that. So rappers,
just
like,
go on YouTube.
So now like your biggest thing is like merch, because you can't get free merch. You can't look up like, oh, free Drake T-shirt.
Right. It's like spelled like Drock. It's like spelled wrong. Be like, it's free.
See, now, do you guys... I still go and buy CDs. I still do, because I have an O2 Impala, and that's how I listen to music. I do have an FM transmitter and Spotify, but like, I don't know, there's just something about me just buying the CD, because when I buy music, I usually try to buy like, you know, artists that I know, but stuff that I haven't heard. So that way I listen to the full thing. And now, do you guys like see how, because I remember in Target there used to be a huge CD section.
Oh,
and
yeah.
now it's like
Like $5 a CD.
they're bringing vinyls back now.
Yeah, vinyls are back now.
Yeah,
Vinyls
the
are all
new-
in there.
They're the new
Everything's-
trendy thing.
Everything's
Yeah.
all retro. Just bringing back the Polaroid camera.
Yep. Polaroids
It's
are
more
big.
of a, I think it's more of a nostalgia thing versus like this is going to be the hot new medium.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
You know what I
It's a history repeats itself.
You find a song that you like on Spotify, and then you might go buy the album or whatever, and then you have, you know, your audio files that are just really into just like, you know, oh, this is more pure of listening and all this type of stuff, but it's not nearly as what it was back when everybody just bought CDs. Oh, you want that song that you heard on the radio? You have to buy a CD, or you have to just listen to the radio and hope that song comes back on.
By now, top 20s.
Yeah.
Those now.
Do you guys listen to the radio,
No.
or do you just use your phone?
I now listen to the radio.
I do it every once in a while to see, hey, what's new? And like in music, like that's out.
It's the same thing with like cable.
But it has to be like a couple months separated, because without being cliche, it's like the same stuff for like a month or two at a time, and then they'll add two
I feel like it's
songs.
even longer than that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like there's stuff that I heard from maybe even like
Oh, yeah.
2016.
They're still playing Closer by the Chainsmokers.
Yeah, I'm gonna go on there. There's gonna be Stereo Hearts by Adam Levine and Thrift Shop by Macklemore.
It was a weird day that I remember where I realized that no one goes on SNL unless they have something to promote, or the Jimmy Fallon show, or whatever, all those
yeah.
NBCs. And I was like, wrestling's fake? Like, it was just like one of those moments where I was just like, they don't actually necessarily
Hurt each other? They don't use real
they don't
chairs.
necessarily like. I mean, they obviously, I'm sure it's a fun week, you know, doing SNL, whatever, and something to talk about. But like, it's literally just, hey, we got SNL, we're gonna promote the movie. It's like just like a creepy Hollywood backdoor thing of like, you're on it next week, and it's like,
Yeah.
nothing's pure, whatever.
Yeah.
Simulation is real.
Totally is.
We're in the Matrix.
I don't know. It's just that's just a way to put it. Just like you're basically a commercial for your clothes,
Yeah.
and clothes could be arbitrary for something else.
Yeah.
You told me radio is the music on the radio is literally just supporting so we can keep doing commercials. That's all it is.
Oh,
Yep.
yeah.
Same with television.
Yeah.
If you like articles, you like news stuff, it's all to promote ads. That's all it is. You know, the best way to do that is to get good content so people can watch and listen or consume the content.
Right.
But at the end of the day, they want to keep you there so that way advertisements will pay you. I mean, even with podcasting, a lot of these podcasts, we're currently not sponsored. We'd like to be. But Chili's. We're
Ranch dressing, Hidden Valley.
Hidden Valley ranch dressing, you know, are all of our big fans. But you know, a lot of our podcasts, you know, the reason why this one's brought to you by this and this is because that's what's paying for them to keep the content going. Maybe they like to do the content, all that stuff, but I mean, the reality is, you know, you have to make money. Luckily, this isn't our main income, so we can just kind of do whatever. But please sponsor us.
We shouldn't tell them that, and then start a Patreon and a GoFundMe, and just put out upside down hats for you to drop change in.
If you donate $1 million, you get one of these mugs, maybe.
Maybe. Signed by Richie himself.
Yeah.
No, but if you want to get sponsored, because we wanted to get sponsored.
Yeah, we're trying to right now, currently.
With our 2 songs, you know.
Right.
Yeah.
And I was looking it up, and apparently all you got to do is just call like their marketing manager and
Yeah.
just put out a pitch on how you can make them money.
Because
Really, all you got to do.
I mean, well, yeah, they're not gonna.
You gotta sign.
They're not gonna sponsor you unless you can make them money too.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's not so much like, it's kind of like more of, it's not some like like some companies will come to you if you have like over like 1 million subscribers or followers and be like, hey, can you say, oh, use Zip Fizz? That's what we're trying to do.
Okay.
Because he loves Zip Fizz, and that'd just be his dream of his.
Shout out Zip Fizz.
And so they'd be like, all right, but most of the time you call and be like, hey, can you sponsor us?
Yeah.
You're like, well, why? And you go, because we make music. And they go, okay, here's a t-shirt you gotta wear at your show.
Yeah. I love it. Meanwhile, you're going to watch the next episode of the podcast, and me and Vince are going to be like, all right, this episode is sponsored by Zip Fizz. My favorite drink. I love it.
It's so good.
Barge through the door.
Oh,
Like the Kool-Aid man, but just angry.
Just destroy the whole place.
You know what's weird? He was made of glass. And he went through brick.
Drywall, brick.
Brick.
That's what
Copper
happens when you
pipes.
drink Kool-Aid. You just
mean-
become strong as nails.
Apparently.
Yeah, diabetes.
Like, how did he not
That
just
too.
like try to go through the wall and just break and shatter?
Can you imagine that commercial? Like, oh man, I wish I had some Kool-Aid. Nothing happened.
All you hear is like,
You see glass break.
my
oh no. It just becomes like kind of vandalism, like nothing more.
There's just someone out there. Watch out. There's a lot of glass.
Put your
Lot of
shoes on.
glass.
Put your shoes on. Walk around.
How come nobody ever complained about the Kool-Aid man breaking in their house? Like, oh yeah. Imagine if you were just chilling, like, oh, I really want some Kool-Aid.
Right.
And then just a wall just gets torn
I
down.
just put up that drywall.
Right, it doesn't like balance out. It's like 99 cents for 200 packets,
Yeah.
which serves 1,000 people.
Yeah.
And they're like,
Just
I don't.
complaining about Kool-Aid.
I'm not seeing how this balances out. How am I gonna fix this? This is
Kool-Aid, you're not being too cool right now.
this is not cool.
I think Family Guy did a bit on that.
Yeah, they
Yeah,
did.
he's like, no.
No.
One of the most classic episodes, probably. Love that episode.
I paid good money for this wall.
Do you guys think it's better for a sponsor to come to you versus you going to a sponsor? Because I feel like
Yeah,
sometimes a sponsor coming to you is better. Because I feel
Oh,
like you
yeah.
can negotiate more, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, it's totally better because
Yeah.
you feel good.
Yeah. You feel like
Chili's
someone
wants-
loves you.
Right.
Outback Steakhouse needs me.
Yeah. And it's
We're just eating a bloomin' onion on the next episode.
that'd be good.
That sounds
Right?
good right now.
No, but it's almost like if you want to get big, pretty much, you just have to be able to market yourself. 'Cause that's what you're selling yourself.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
why. That's why people sign like record companies sign people because you're gonna make them money.
Or you can sell your soul to the devil too.
That too.
You know what I had? That was
that happens.
The first time where I actually believed that is when Pete Davidson and Ariana Grande started dating. Now I really like Pete Davidson, but I was just like, he was literally no one. I liked him, but on SNL,
He was a comedian.
he's a
He
comedian.
started-
No, but he was like a stand-up comedian. He was on a couple sketches. He mainly did like Weekend Update, like stand-up
Yeah.
monologues. That happened. The first episode of the new season, he was the star because of their breakup, and I was like,
So you're
the
trying,
devil is alive.
you're trying to say he sold his soul, you think?
I really think that.
Well,
Not really, but like that was.
How old is Pete Davidson? Does anybody know?
He's our age.
No, he's younger.
He's younger
If
than
he-
us.
so-
Yeah.
If he dies when he's 27, yeah.
It's 27 Club.
That's
See?
how it
Did
works.
you guys ever hear about
He's gotta
that?
have
Yeah.
a white. He's gotta have a white lighter, and learn that at 3 a.m. on YouTube.
Let that chill.
Yeah, who's in Club
Number
27?
9.
Jimi Hendrix.
Robert Johnson was the first one. Yeah.
Kurt Cobain.
Kurt Cobain, Amy Winehouse.
Yeah, all the 27 Club.
The real Paul McCartney.
Oh yeah.
I heard that conspiracy.
Yeah.
I kind of believe it.
Did you guys ever hear about like how that whole like sell your soul thing started? So it was the Crossroad, right?
It was Robert Johnson.
The
It was a crossroad in
Blues.
wherever they did the witchcraft. What was the main state?
Salem.
Salem.
Sa-
I don't
Salem
know.
Charles.
I don't know where
No,
it was
the-
actually.
The main state that's like known for like, oh, this is where witch stuff is held. They did an American Horror Stories on it.
I thought it was Salem.
It's not in Salem. It was
You
in
mean
like
it's
it's a state.
Massachusetts?
Massachusetts.
Is it-
Oh,
is
it
I don't know.
Massachusetts?
Massachusetts.
Yeah, probably. I don't know states.
I started with a no. I could be. I was in Oregon.
I only live in the U.S. of A. I don't need to know anything else.
Yeah, he was like something like he walked to a
You
crossroads.
walked to a crossroad, and apparently you sold his soul to the devil. And the devil, like, because what happened was Robert Johnson couldn't even play the guitar. He's a blues guy, and he left one night, came back like 5 days later, and was just amazing at it.
They say the devil took his guitar
And
just tuned it,
Tuned it regularly,
and gave it back to him.
and then sold his soul to the devil.
I love this
And
story.
I'm pretty sure the last song he ever came out with was called "Me and the Devil Blues." It was about the devil coming to his front door, saying like taking his soul.
That's wow. It's crazy.
Here's my thing though.
They kicked off everything.
Wow.
Here's my thing that gets me mad. Aside from the devil,
You know what really grinds my gears? The devil.
the devil. Like what? Why'd he make us fall? Anyways, he didn't make us fall. We chose it. But anyways, the part that always gets mad is like when you go deeper into that, you find out anyone who's ever accomplished anything
Sold their soul to the devil.
sold their soul to the
Yeah.
devil.
Yeah.
Well, I
You'd
mean,
be
it's
like,
true.
you know, you'd be like it just to me, it just starts to turn into like oh, well, Greg, he worked really hard and he made this great invention. He made millions of dollars because he sold his soul to Satan, and that's why. And you're like, but he also like I don't know, he stayed up late.
I
stayed
sell
up
my
late.
soul to God.
Yeah,
That'd be funny if that became the
he
new
worked,
thing.
He worked really hard.
Of like, you hear about Greg, be like, oh, Greg, is he still a loser? Be like, no, he found himself. Yeah? Yeah, with the devil. He's great at guitar.
He found the
I
devil.
want to know, how do people go, well, it's not working out for me for music right now. I guess I'll just sell my soul to the devil.
That's probably how it is.
Right. Is there an email address that I don't have for the
Satan
devil at
head.
email?
and think about this. It's not like, okay, I never understood that idea. It's like, hey, listen, you give me your soul, I'll make you this great guy. Great. I'm maybe gonna live 80 years tops. Back then, they lived for 20.
Right, 27.
So you got an eternity now with hell because some people are like, wow, this guy can make some good records. Like, that's not worth it.
The fall
That's
of
not worth
man.
it.
We'll see. The ego.
The Apple.
Yeah.
That's we figured it out. Robert Johnson, Apple guitar.
The
Hands.
first.
the I guitar.
And that's why there's a hole in an acoustic
And
for
everybody-
the apple to go.
Therefore, Earth is flat.
I like to believe. No. What about this though? What if he was actually a good player, but he was just tone deaf? So then the devil's like, "Oh, you just got to tune it." Oh, thanks, Dad.
What
then
if
he
it
just
wasn't
kinda-
even the devil? It was just the guy's like, who are you? He goes, I'm
the devil.
like, oh, this guy knew how to tune a guitar.
That's it. Works at Guitar Center.
Yeah.
I like how nobody's
The guy
like,
from Tenacious D, Ben
Ballad-
Stiller.
Yeah.
Bal and Golgotha, they're in the back.
Jeez,
That's
music.
there's some like crazy pictures though on the internet. Like, I don't know if they're fake or not, but remember that picture of ASAP Rocky? He just
Oh
like,
yeah, there's a picture of
in-
a famous rapper who's
Yeah.
like in a pentagram with like he's with the
Just
whole group. He's
doing-
reading out of a
just-
book.
Oh,
yeah,
jeez.
it's crazy. How like sometimes I'm like, maybe this could be real.
Listen, guys, you've just guaranteed what I'm going to do for the rest of the day, and I'm upset.
But I'm a little relieved.
I'm a little excited.
I'm a little excited to find out all these pictures where it zooms in and they
There's a picture
blurry.
of Jay-Z in the 1800s, and they go,
Oh
see?
yeah, I seen
Yeah.
that.
And I
Time
go,
Travelers.
and I go, or
Listen, he was in the 1800s, so obviously he sold his soul.
right,
And it
Time
made
travel.
reasonable
you know
doubt.
who hasn't aged? Keanu Reeves.
yeah.
He has
Keanu Reeves.
not aged.
Tom Cruise hasn't aged.
Jennifer Aniston.
There's a bunch of pictures of those celebrities like that are like,
Oh yeah.
oh yeah, they were in the 1800s too.
Okay, the only one where I was like, that's almost exact is Nicolas Cage. You ever
That
seen
one
that
was
one?
I didn't
ridiculous.
see that
Oh
one.
my gosh, it's ridiculous.
It's almost like exact.
Jamie, pull it up.
Jamie, can you pull it up, please?
It's just showing him reading the Declaration of Independence.
This is a president.
I'm gonna steal the Constitution, or what do you say, Declaration? Yeah.
We're gonna steal the Declaration of Independence.
But yeah, it's weird. It's definitely weird.
So what you're saying is National Treasure was a documentary.
Thank
Yeah, it was real. That's
you.
based on a true story.
I
They
mean, the
just didn't
Matrix
put
was
that
a
in the movie.
documentary too,
Masons.
right? Matrix.
Matrix was
Did you guys
documentary.
know that there's a guy who made a website that said there was a 40% chance our whole world is computer generated?
How did he figure that out?
40%.
40% chance.
I want to know
So
what's the math.
what's the math? How many?
What's the math?
How many
Yeah.
times you gotta do Pythagorean theorem for that to make sense?
I don't know. I didn't go
He
on the
looks
website.
at a flower. He's like, it could be digital.
Right?
A squared plus
I
B
have a
squared
feeling
equals
this guy was
simulation.
just tripping, and he was kind of seeing like that one scene or that one episode of Rick and Morty where they get captured by aliens, and the dad doesn't realize it is.
Yeah.
There's like a toaster, like Pop-Tart driving a toaster.
Yeah.
And the guy's like, wait a minute.
It doesn't make sense.
I feel like the 40%. That's a good number.
it's a good number.
That's
Because
almost 50.
because
Almost,
it's
so-
just enough to where you like he could be right.
'Cause
But
there's-
because if you did like 80% or 70,
You're crazy.
And here's the
you're
thing.
you're an insane person, you know. Because even if you're right, everyone's like, well, you're crazy. There's no way you would have known that. But 40, that's a nice,
It's-
comfortable number.
because
like,
because there's
maybe-
definitely been
All I'm
times.
saying is, do the research.
Well, because there's sometimes
Do the
when
math.
you're thinking, you're like, wait a minute. That you see something, go, that didn't add up.
No.
Go, that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
Like the coincidence too. Coincidences. Where like did you ever hear the one with John F. Kennedy, Abraham Lincoln?
Yes.
How everything's
all-
reversed.
Everything's
It's
the
like,
same.
wait a
reversed.
minute.
Yeah.
It's kind of crazy.
Have you ever seen the glitches? It's like glitches in reality. Like it'll show a car.
Guys, I only have so much time to look into all
It'll
this.
it'll show a car driving.
Yeah.
And just boom, all of a sudden flips out of nowhere on an open road.
There's also
I
like
was
videos where
3 a.m.
people.
YouTube.
There's
be there.
also videos where like people just come out of nowhere. Like someone will be filming with their phone, and then like someone will just walk. Like they'll be like a person. I'm not good at describing things, but I'm good at showing you. So let's
Right.
say this is a mic. Someone will pan the camera to a person, and then like they'll see this much, and then they'll just come out of nowhere.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Those glitches in reality, man.
One of the things that people used for proof that the simulation is real is the fact that the giant difference between how far away the moon is versus how far away the sun is, and the fact that the moon still perfectly covers the sun, like perfectly, and they're like, well, mathematically that's impossible, so 40% chance. They just said like the likelihood of that happening is uncalculable.
You know how hot the sun's actually got to be.
And
It's gotta
Please just change the subject.
It's gotta be so.
Have you ever
no,
put something in
it's
the
gotta
microwave
be
for
so
4
hot.
minutes?
Here's
be
what's
so
weird.
hot.
Here's what's weird. Here's what's weird if you think about it. The higher you go up, you're getting closer to the sun, but it gets colder.
How?
Exact. 40%
Wait, no, wait,
chance.
wait, does it get
Simulation.
colder? Wait,
Yeah,
what
like
gets
if you look
colder?
on top of mountains, there's like snow.
Oh.
But you're closer to the sun, so it'd be warmer. You think?
Are you closer though?
There's we.
That's literally pouring water on a plate and saying, see, Earth is flat.
Yeah.
Wait!
Somebody did that.
I don't want this to be a topic. This is angry. You're higher on a mountain, it's colder. Well, it's because...
Because elevation, but in a
Well,
way,
no, because the...
But you're closer to the sun.
The center of the Earth. No.
is it now also too when you go higher up in a mountain, you have higher altitude, you have less oxygen. So is oxygen part of the heat? I don't know.
Is the devil
Simulation.
oxygen?
Simulation.
Sold my soul to the oxygen. Changed my mind.
I went to the top of the mountain. They tuned my guitar.
Well, if you
Took
look...
Madame Zeroni to the top of the mountain.
Rule of
Adam
thumb.
Cerrone!
Stanley
Is that
Yelnats.
from Holes?
Yeah, now remember that scene?
Get out. Well, there's a great Alan Watts where he says he's talking about nonsense, about how things just don't make sense, and be like, well, if you look at like trees and hippos and you're like, well, that all makes sense. He goes, does it? He goes, you're just taking it for granted. He goes, hippos and other animals like that make just as much sense as like a dragon or like a gorgon or like these mythical things. He goes, we're just used to it. Yeah. It's just this is just what's happening.
Someone said it confidently.
Yeah, toasters in a garage in the Rick and Morty episode. If that happened, people are like, why would the Pop-Tart get in the toaster as its car? Like, why wouldn't his house look? And we go, well, that's just what it is. I feel like that's the same thing. Hippos.
Yeah.
Hippos.
Hippos are a simulation.
This episode is just going off the wall.
Well, it has to end this way, or else what's the point?
It's true, man.
It's supposed to be about music. Now we're talking about the sun.
And why it's hot.
You guys ever wonder, like, wind? You can't see it.
Well,
but it can touch you.
Well, in The Happening, a.k.a. Bird Box, we find out that it's the wind.
Yeah.
There was something where, like, the wind was just, like, it was an episode of something where the wind was just talking mad crap to someone. I forget
Can we
what it's
just...
from.
Okay, there's only one thing I have to say about Bird Box. Okay, why couldn't the demon, the aura, the evil, whatever, why couldn't it get in a house?
No hands.
Were all these houses... like, did anyone ever, like, open the door and, like, let one in the house? Like,
Right.
I mean, they had those people that could, like, they lured people, like, open your eyes and see it or
Yeah.
whatever. It just didn't make sense. I'm like, is every house blessed by a priest? Like, how does
Right.
this? How are these demons
'Cause
not
it's a
getting
movie.
into?
It's
That's
not real.
solid, but they can
don't
get
know
into
that.
anything else. They could, if you're outside, you're just open wind.
I don't think they thought about that.
What's your theory behind...
They're just like, wait, someone was definitely like, why can't they get in the house? Everyone's like, they're not gonna think about that. Leave it.
It's almost equivalent to like when you were a kid and they were like, if there's monsters in the bed or monsters in
can't
the
get
closet,
under
you
the
just
covers.
go under the covers and they can't hurt you.
Yeah.
Or if you turn on the lights real quick, they can't get you.
No, they-
'Cause
yeah.
like,
They
you
don't
got
have
me.
light.
Well, the light can make sense because they're afraid of light. It burns their skin.
That's a
But they,
vampire.
let me tell you, they hide in your closet. They hide in your bed. They can't get to you. There was a robot chicken where these monsters are coming out of the bed and the girl puts over the blanket and the mom's like, "Oh crap, we can't get to her." And then they pull out a bunch of baseball bats, like, "Just kidding!" And they just start beating the crap out of it.
Robot chicken.
What's your theory for Bird Box as to why some people, they see it and whatever they see makes them want to kill themselves and sure that I'm going to kill myself versus the people who are like, it's the most beautiful thing ever and everyone needs to see it, but I don't justify killing myself.
I'm wondering if it's something like they become a different type of possession, so that way they could get more people. But yeah, because they still like kept them around,
Yeah.
to like bring other people into doing it.
Yeah.
So
It's actually
I really don't have a big theory for it,
Yeah.
other than it just made the risk more dangerous. So that way it'd be like, okay, if everyone just closes their eyes, they're good. Well,
Right.
how can we make this harder? How can we up the difficulty? Well, let's have people that like lure them in.
That
and
was
pull
a
them in.
necessary plot point to keep me watching because I was about to turn it off and I was like, oh, okay.
Like-
Let's see where this goes.
Yeah.
I got a question. Why was Machine Gun Kelly in that movie?
He was?
Right?
That's
Why
him?
was he in that movie?
Okay.
Because Eminem destroyed his rap career.
So he had
Yeah.
to become an actor.
So he had to become
What would you guys rate Bird Box? Because I
It's
don't.
like a 7.
I would
Yeah,
say a
it's
7
pretty
out
good.
of 10. I feel like people are like making it a lot better.
It just seems like they've never seen a movie before.
With
the
Sandra
way they're
Bullock.
talking about
Yeah.
it. Right. It's a good movie, but like people are talking about it like, I didn't know good movies existed. I've
Yeah.
just been watching Transformers 2 my whole life.
They talk about like it's either people go, "This is the worst movie ever, I hate it," or they go, "This is the best movie ever." It's like it's just a movie. I really don't.
I feel like the general review of that movie was very good. I feel like I don't know. I feel like I've seen better movies
it's
like
whatever.
Shawshank Redemption.
We should be talking
Better
about that
than-
still.
Yeah.
Best movie ever.
That's
Yeah,
that
it
was
really
just what we're
is.
talking about.
That's the best movie I think I've ever
I'd
seen.
be so happy if we lived in a world where people just always talk about Shawshank Redemption.
I've never heard anybody say that was a bad movie.
No.
Isn't it like
It's-
supposed to be the greatest
it's a-
movie of all time?
It's,
I don't know. It is to me.
well, the greatest storyline is Star Wars of all time, voted by everybody.
Yeah,
really?
that makes sense.
Which is
But-
funny because that whole storyline has been used for thousands of years.
Yeah.
Well,
it's all part of the
almost
hero's
like,
tale.
Yeah.
It's just the
almost-
hero's tale.
Yeah, movies nowadays are just too predictable. Have you ever seen Brian Regan's new show?
Yeah.
I heard it wasn't very good.
It's not that good.
I'm
There's
kind of
some parts
upset that
are
it's not
funny.
that good.
There's a
It's
part
funny,
like,
though.
I can't believe these movie scenes that all just get repeated. Everyone's always seen this movie, and it shows a guy on a motorcycle, and he goes, "Oh, that's a guy on a motorcycle with the sick leather jacket doing all these tricks."
Yeah.
He goes, "Wait a minute, he's taking off his helmet. That's long blonde hair. It's a girl."
Like every single movie that was. Oh, look at all these panning shots of him on the motorcycle. This guy is pretty cool.
And that's a guy. That's what guys do.
and then he takes off. Oh, girl.
All right, I think that's about it, guys.
Awesome.
Is there anything else you guys want to add? Anything else you want to say? Promote your stuff?
Promote it all
Plug.
one more time.
Yeah,
March coming out with an album.
March album.
Shoelace Swishers, Spotify, YouTube, Pandora, anything
Apple
you listen
Music.
to music on.
Check
It's all
out
there.
Dreams and Talk to Me. More will be out in March.
Yep. The whole album. Then we'll
Sweet.
start playing shows.
Remember,
Awesome.
it's on everything.
Awesome.
It's on everything.
And then our only update is January 11th.
January
we have our
11th?
Pizza and Hummus Presents. We're having a comedy show. Everybody, same place as last time. Tickets are only $5. You can message us now. You don't have to call the phone number. You can message us now to reserve tables.
Eats and Crafts / Escape in Troy. $5, 9 p.m. January 11th. Gonna be a great night.
Boom.
Barbecue foot massage.
All right. Thanks. Thanks, guys.
Uh-oh, here we go now.